hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Bray Wyatt. You know, I meant to do this some time ago, but things are happening, and there's always some nonsense to report or react to, whatever the case. As far as this channel goes, I think when it comes to wrestling, I think I'm about to go back to like 80s and 90s historical stories, because this current industry, it's an abomination. It truly is. But before we get there, Bray Wyatt. This is something I wanted to cover. People love to throw around the word legend. I made this point in my video about how The Miz is not a legend. I made this point. Because you've been around for years, maybe decades, that doesn't mean you're a legend. That means you're a veteran. There's a difference. A legend is somebody who made an uncommon impact in their field, in their genre. The Miz did not do that. Check out that video on the channel about, I think it's called "So the Miz is a Legend Now" or something like that. Something about The Miz and legend. Just search it on the channel. Mark Henry. Oh, Lord. But Bray Wyatt, is he a legend? Now, this is another thing about being a fan. A lot of fans, they rush to praise someone and worship someone, especially when someone passes away. Okay, I made this point. I have a video on this channel called "Eddie Guerrero is Overrated." Go watch that video. And really look up and think about, what does the word overrated mean? What does underrated mean? Because most people, that fan nonsense, you said overrated, so how could you say so? Oh, who I like is overrated. Do you know what the word overrated means? What it really means? Go watch that video. A lot of fans do this thing of, well, this person passed away, so they're a legend now. Why would being cremated or in the bosom of Abraham, why would being up there or down there, why would that mean you're a legend now? To a fan, why does death mean legend now? You didn't call the person a legend the day before they dropped dead. No disrespect. Rest the soul of Bray Wyatt. Eddie Guerrero, I made that point in the video. I never heard one person in the world call Eddie Guerrero a legend until the day they found him in that hotel. I never heard not one person say it. Why do people acknowledge someone as a legend when they're deceased? Another thing, why do people call someone a legend so quickly? See, when it comes to me, I have the thinking of like real sports, meaning in the NFL, in the NBA. You have to be retired for like 5 years, then they put you in the Hall of Fame. I'm of the same thinking in that way, meaning, I like history, context, perspective. Wait 5 years. Forget passing away. When someone has their career, wait 5 years, 10 years, and then say, okay, then you look back on them and say, you put the perspective on it. Are they a legend? What did they mean? What did they do? That's what I do. I don't rush in an emotional state of fandom. Oh my God, you're a legend now. Oh my God, you're not here anymore. You're a legend now. I don't do that. Now, some people, Michael Jordan was a legend. If Michael Jordan retired in 1989, he's a legend. Uh, Goldberg. If Goldberg quit wrestling in 2000, he would be iconic still. Some people have that great of an impact. Ultimate Warrior. He didn't, Ultimate Warrior, when he left wrestling, or when they fired him again in 92, if Warrior disappeared after 1992 and never appeared again, he's a legend. 89 to 91, his impact was that great. So some people, you don't have to have a 15-year career, or you don't have to, wait 5 years after they retire or pass away. No, but some people are just dick lickers. Now, Bray Wyatt, is he a legend? And do I think Eddie Guerrero's a legend? Go watch the video about when I say Eddie Guerrero's overrated. Because I said overrated, that doesn't give you the answer to the question. Go watch that video. Now, Bray Wyatt, was he overrated? No. Was he underrated? No. What happened with Bray Wyatt was they brought him in. He's a son of a wrestler. You know, WWE in the last 20, 25 years, they love the idea of the second generation, the third generation. That's great. He came in, he was in FCW before NXT. He was Husky Harris, and I guess he always remained Husky. A real generic character, nothing memorable. They bring him up when they had the Nexus storyline in 2000, I believe 2000. Did they bring him up in 2010 or was that 2011? It might have been early 2011. I can't remember. The Nexus had different groups, and then they made the Core, and then CM Punk was leading the Nexus, and then they had Michael McGillicuddy because they won't let him be Joe Henning or whatever his real name was. When's the last time somebody seen him? Mr. Perfect Son. They released him like years ago. What is he doing? Is he in TNA? Is he in, what? What is he doing? Where's Michael McGillicuddy now? I really don't want to Google it. No offense. But they brought Bray Wyatt in as a member of the Nexus. He was like one of the heavies. Nikita Lyons, her ass is heavy. Am I the only one who likes Nia Jax? not for her wrestling or anything, but sometimes a big woman can do the job. And when I say the job, I don't mean a wrestling match. But what is this video about? Oh, Bray Wyatt. Where was I? Okay, yeah, NXT something, and then they take him off TV. Then I believe he goes back to NXT or FCW Development or whatever the case, whatever. He builds this character named Bray Wyatt. It was a takeoff of Waylon Mercy. Let me see. Can I get Waylon Mercy on here? For those who don't know, Waylon Mercy was like a mid-carder in WWF in '95 when they had all the goofy gimmicks and things. Let me see if he comes up on here. Online World of Wrestling. Good. I think something's wrong with the search engine on here. Waylon Mercy, he's somewhere on here, but it's not that big of a deal. He's a mid-carder. Bray Wyatt clearly ripped off his gimmick, but I said this before, I'll say it again. If you take someone else's idea, if you take someone else's gimmick, if you do it better than they ever could, that's a positive. Okay, if you're going to bite somebody, you got to do it better than they ever could do it. Not a debatable who did it better. No, you have to do it completely. Bray Wyatt completely surpassed Waylon Mercy. He re-debuts as Bray Wyatt. He has the Wyatt family. When he debuts, of course, the marks in the crowd. The marks in the crowd. Let's go here. He debuts as Bray Wyatt, and what are they chanting? Husky Harris. Husky, because the marks always have to get themselves over. They always do. Let's scroll here. May 27th, 2013, Raw vignette airs promoting the Wyatt family's impending debut. They debut, they take out Kane. Oh God, I forgot the Bray Wyatt Kane Ring of Fire match. Oh Lord. Were they trying to bury him from the beginning? Then they do the typical thing, a new character, you build them up. They have squash matches, basically. They beat up the lower mid-carders, as you do. R-Truth, Ziggler, by September 2013, Ziggler was buried, I guess. Because he's jobbing to Bray Wyatt in his third match as this character. Zack Ryder, yeah, another person in catering. The Primetime Players. Man, McMahon tried to delete Titus O'Neil's career. McMahon, it's hysterical. That Titus O'Neil, the Titus O'Neil McMahon situation, if you remember that or not. McMahon tried to fire him. Somebody said McMahon tried to make a black man history in Black History Month. Hysterical. In Black History Month, McMahon almost made a black man history. Oh, come on, Janelle. Yeah, Janelle. Get the toy. Yeah, get the big toy. Get the black toy. Yeah. No. That's R-Truth. I said get the black toy. No. That's the Samoan toy. That's The Rock. The Rock's not black. He's Samoan. Janelle, get the black toy. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, get the big one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the Bobby Lashley. Yeah, the Almighty. Yeah, look at the veins on it. It's so realistic. Like, please watch the video I just uploaded. It's called "Vince McMahon is in deep trouble with the feds." Please watch that. Hold up, I got a drink after that one. Hold up, man. Share this video. Mm, mm. Oh man, mm, mm-hmm. I had to catch my breath like Janelle Grant. But good lord. But the big black one. McMahon named the female's toys after his own booking, after his own character. Vince McMahon. Uh, it's too much content with him. But Bray Wyatt, I'm not gonna go through his whole career, good lord. But Bray Wyatt, let's get back here. Bray Wyatt, he debuts as this character. His interviews are phenomenal, tremendous. And one of the reasons why his interviews are so good is because he came along at a time where the interviews were horrible. For years, horrible interviews. Why? They had people with no charisma, no magnetism. You know, the overscripting, the micromanagement. If someone had the ability, they would not let that person showcase it or develop it. But for some reason, I don't know what Bray Wyatt did, but they let him speak. The problem is he was a great promo, but they kept having him do the same promo every week for years, thus destroying his appeal by the audience. There came a point his interviews was great, but they literally had him do the same interview for years, and you numb the audience. When The Rock was the hottest thing in wrestling in 99, 2000, 2001, The Rock had his catchphrases, but he didn't do them every single week. If you go back and watch, what the hell is this? Block. Let me block the ad blocking of an ad. Let me block the ad of an ad blocker. The Rock did not do all his catchphrases every single week. There were Raws and SmackDowns in 99, 2000. The Rock never does a promo. He just comes out for his match, gets an enormous pop, rock bottom, elbow, people, eyebrow, elbow, rock bottom, 1, 2, 3, whatever the case. You numb the audience when you have someone do a catchphrase or the same speech or the same thing every week. They didn't do that with The Rock. If you go back and watch, they didn't. Austin didn't say the "Give me a hell yeah." He didn't say that every single week. They had Bray Wyatt doing the same promo every single week to the point where it was great. It was great. It was great. Then, okay, I'm changing the channel. When this company has something great, they either destroy it by cutting the legs out from under it, or they destroy it by running it into the ground. And they ran Bray Wyatt into the ground. But then later on, they he reinvents himself again with the Fire Fun House, whatever. I don't care. I I wasn't really watching like that. You know what's funny with Bray Wyatt? When he debuted, that's when I quit watching. But I would tune in and I would catch him somehow, and but then they go to the next segment and I change the channel. He was tremendous. And he had one of the great traits of being a legend. He has the trait that The Undertaker had. He has the trait that Shawn Michaels had. He has the trait that Chris Jericho had, which is evolving, changing with the times. It wasn't Cena who literally did the same gimmick for 15 years and wonders why half the building boos him. Bray Wyatt was a brilliant creative that they tried to stifle. And I have a later video on this of how fake the company was after his passing and how they showed their typical disrespect and disregard for him. I'm talking about seriously disrespected him behind the scenes before he made his comeback. The fact that he was fired, the real reason he was fired, which they won't tell you the real reason why. If you know, you know. Most people don't. I have that video coming soon. But is Bray Wyatt a legend? He went on to have the new character with the mask and all this stuff. I thought this was a goofy character. It was like some superhuman. He can't be beat or he can't be hurt. The ridiculous, one of the worst matches in wrestling history. Him and Seth Rollins in that red Hell in a Cell. First of all, why the hell would you paint the cell red? You can't even, if you're in the arena, how could you even see the match? That is one of the worst matches in wrestling history. You do a billion moves to him, kick out, kick out. Great. There you go again. It's like they're burying him. They did this superhuman thing at this time with Braun Strowman. Strowman's another one. Braun Strowman is going to be on wasted potential because this guy was so over. There was a point, and people might not remember this. There was a short period Strowman was getting crowd reactions like when Steve Austin's music hit. This is years ago. It was for a short period. They were pushing. This is when around the time when Lesnar had the belt with Heyman, and they were pushing Strowman. And there was a period for about 2 months, maybe 2.5. Strowman was getting so over when his music hit. It was damn near a Steve Austin pop. And what did they do? They turned him into a cartoon. Braun Strowman just turned over a tractor trailer. Braun Strowman just flipped over the announce table and Michael Cole. Braun Strowman just tore down a building. Great, they made him a cartoon and destroyed him. That's another video for another day. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this channel. They made this character goofy. I thought the Fire Funhouse was so stupid. Apparently it had like inside jokes or whatever. Okay, great. He's a bloated Mr. Rogers. But beyond that, Bray Wyatt was a tremendous creative. He would have been a hell of a booker. Oh my God. Because I don't believe the over the top stuff. I don't think that was him. I think that was McMahon driving things into the ground. I'd say, I like to give things more time, but I'd say, say 3, 5 years from now, 10, 20 years from now, Bray Wyatt will be looked at as a legend of wrestling. And he'll also be looked at as wasted potential because his life came to a conclusion too young. And they were burying him at times and driving him into the ground at times. So he'll be wasted potential. But I think Bray Wyatt has a legendary impact. He's far more creative than anybody they have now in wrestling. He understood the human psychology of wrestling. He was pretty much the modern day Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake was great in the ring. That's the big difference. Jake was great in the ring and everything else. Bray Wyatt was not great in the ring, but he didn't need to be. Wrestling is not about moves. It's about character. It's about ring psychology, understanding the crowd human psychology. That's what wrestling's about, storylines. It's not about moves. Nobody is going to revere Will Ospreay unless you're a mark who reads Meltzer's sheet. But people will remember Bray Wyatt. He was uncommon. He's everything The Miz isn't. With that said, I'm up out of here. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Rest the soul of Bray Wyatt. And that is it.